الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد. Actually, I've made a video in Arabic to make comments over a doctor who he negates the issue of the position of the jinn over the ins. The issue of position, he said, is not true, and he denied any kind of positions. He raised some of taken notes about his evidences here. Among his evidences, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِلَّا أَنْ دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I have, Iblis alayhi la'na said in the day of judgment, I have no control over you, but I just call you and you reply to my call. So don't blame me today, blame yourself. He said this is the evidence that Dr. Tarek Suidan mentioned in a lecture in seminar, was maybe in Kuwait or something. Yes, actually this evidence doesn't mean there is no possession of the jinn over the ins. Why? Because this is what we call non-restricted evidence. Non-restricted evidence, and we have the restricted evidence. Sometimes there is a general word. This general word, there is another evidence which restricts the general word, and it would apply only a few members of this restricted word or syntax. Okay, so he said there is no such issue called black magic, except what Al-Quran mentioned, سحروا أعين الناس. They made black magic over their eyes, which means is just they turn their eyes to believe in something, but there is no reality whatsoever for the black magic. And this is the main point there. Of course, no one can deny the existence of black magic because it was mentioned in several occasions, several ayat in the Quran, and it's showing that this black magic has got a reality. مِشْرِ النُّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, those who makes notes to make black magic and afflict people with black magic. Of course, the issue of possession exists. How can we? He said there is no hadith, no authentic hadith about the possession of the jinn over the ins. Okay, well, there is one hadith in Sahih Bukhari that woman came to the Prophet ﷺ, said, إني أسرع فأتكشف فادعوا الله لي فادعوا الله لي فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم إن شئت دعوت الله لك وإن شئت وإن صبرت فلك الجنة. This hadith is an authentic hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Of course, there is some of here the issue of possession is general. Usra. Usra means I fall unconscious. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim al-Juziyya said that there are two types of being possessed by the jinn. or sorry, there are two types of being afflicted by the black magic. The first one is to be possessed by the filthy souls, bad souls, evil souls, and second one is the influence of the material stuff. Okay, let's stay with the number one because it's the one that he denies. He denies it. He denied it. So he may say this hadith is just usra for unconscious. In another narration out of Bukhari and Muslim, she mentioned إني أخشى أن يكشفني الخبيث. I fear that the filthy soul or the evil soul may expose me. So this the explanation of the word which is here not clear in the hadith. At the same time, okay, well, we have another hadith which is clearly showing the issue of possession. What is it? This hadith is narrated by Imam Ahmad. A woman brought to the Prophet ﷺ her baby, and she said that he's of sick. And the Prophet ﷺ, when she brought him to the Prophet ﷺ, he said in the Arabic word, "أخرج يا عدو الله فأنا رسول الله." Oh, the enemy of Allah, come out. I am the Prophet of Allah. So this is what the Prophet ﷺ said. The hadith is saying they saw a small dog, black small dog coming out from his mouth at the time where he vomited. So it means this is clear narration which shows the issue of possession. This hadith narrated by Imam Ahmad. You know, Imam Ahmad is Imam Ahl Sunnah. He knows what he's doing. Yes? So his chain is an authentic chain. This said, وَرِجَالُهُ رِجَالَ الصَّحِيحِ. It means his chain is the chain of Sahih, of Sahih al-Bukhari. It means the same chain as Sahih al-Bukhari. But there could be some defectiveness in this hadith because they mentioned the men. There could be illa, what we call in hadith terminology, illa, which means effectiveness in the hadith. So this is the narration. Also, the same narration, this narration, is narrated by Imam al-Hafidh Abu Abdullah al-Hakim al-Naysaburi, Sahib al-Mustadrak, the one who wrote al-Mustadrak. He narrated this hadith and he said, هذا حديث صحيح على شرط الشيخين ولم يخرجاه. He said, this is an authentic hadith according to the conditions of al-Bukhari and Muslim, but they didn't narrate the hadith. They didn't narrate the hadith. Of course, there is a condition of Imam al-Dhahabi for those who want to find out about the hadith, where the conclusion of Imam Dhahabi is important. So he used this, he claimed this, and I reply by those hadith to his claim, because he said someone came to him and he said, oh, he's been possessed by the jinn for 17 years. Yes, the jinn could possess someone for a long time, but for most of the time it doesn't appear to be there. But what we call, he may hide for some time, then after some time the jinn may show some signs of possession which could be preventing him from the best ibadah, not preventing him from ibadah or the ibadah, not preventing him from recitation of Quran, having some arguments with his with the wife, or the wife has some arguments with her husband. So it could be seen in those signs in general. So he also claimed that he's been in USA for 17 years and he never saw the kuffar being possessed by the jinn. No, you didn't recite the ayat of the black magic, so that you can't see, because the jinn is not a full control, as the ayah is saying. There is no full control over the ins, but it's just a small control through some arguments with the wife, some feeling not doing good in ibadah, leaving the computer and leaving the business, etc. But when you read the ayat of the sihr, black magic, you will bring the jinn to feel uncomfortable. So the person, you may see him, making possibly noise. You see he's doing some strange actions, etc. This is because of the jinn. Here, where only possibly the control of the human is about like 5 to 10% in the issue, and even the person could feel himself far away, and the jinn is taking action. Okay, so he said he stayed in United States for 17 years. He never noticed that anyone among the kuffar has been or have possessed by the jinn. I would say I've seen some people, non-Muslim people, they came to me and I made the ruqya over them, and they find it useful, and they came back again. Yes, those people were not Muslim, were, I think, Buddhist or something. So they have a good. It had a good impact on them. Anyway, this kind of cure, that's why it could be done to Christian, non-Muslim, etc. Well, is there anything else that he spoke about? Yeah. He considered, those people. He considered those people who claim the position of the jinn are people who are just making joke. They are not saying the truth. But in fact, this is not right. By experience, this is the issue of possession, especially when the person go and make the diagnostic for himself, blood pressure control over his blood, does the blood test, etc. But in fact, they notice there is nothing. Most of them, they pass through this procedure of medicine, then they come to see whether these things are right or not. Then in fact it has been found out that those people have the black magic. So the issue of black magic is something material, I would say material, and could affect anyone. Nas'Allah al-afiyah. Even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was afflicted by a black magic through a Jewish person, and Jibril and Mikael come to him and remove, or Allah has given him a cure, but still he confirmed sallallahu alaihi wasallam this issue of black magic. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.